What is going on, everyone? I think we could all agree that this Houston Texans team is on the right track heading into this season. And you have to give praise to General Manager Nick Caserio because let's not forget, guys, our future wasn't this bright only a couple months ago. After that Week 18 victory, and there was no Lovie Smith, he was fired immediately after the game. No one knew where the Houston Texans' future was going to go. It all relied on Nick Caserio. So we're going to put this offseason to bed because the next thing we got to worry about is the Houston Texans playing the game. So without further ado, welcome everyone to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I am your host, Ruben Calavillo. I drop daily Houston Texans content. Follow me on Twitter at 713HSP. Follow my Instagram out here, 713 Houston Sports. Now, without further ado, General Manager Nick Caserio deserves so much praise for the way he attacked this offseason for the Houston Texans because there's been a trend, and that trend was getting the best of the best, getting the captain. The first one was head coach DeMeco Ryans, who, as we all know, was the perfect hire for this Houston Texans team. The love of football is back in H-Town, and we all have to give credit to General Manager Nick Caserio for doing that hire. And honestly, the entire hiring process was also an A+ done by this front office. Free agency wise, it was, I am going to get a veteran for every single position group. For the secondary, it was Jimmy Ward. For the linebacking core, Denzel Perryman. For the defensive line group, it was Sheldon Rankins. For the offense, it was veteran wide receiver Robert Woods. We are expecting him to be a pure leader in that locker room. For the tight ends, it was Dalton Schultz, and let's not forget he was one of the most sought after tight ends on the board and one of the best tight ends on the board as well. For the offensive line, it was trading for Shaq Mason and extending him just a couple of days ago. And then it was making Laremy Tunsil one of the highest paid left tackles in the NFL, giving him a 3-year deal as well. You beat up the offensive line. You invested into your quarterback, C.J. Stroud. In the running back group, it was Devin Singletary, who is a legit number 2 running back next to Dameon Pierce. I can see both these guys going off for 800 plus yards. If you want to throw even the quarterback group as well, Case Keenum, who we haven't talked about, is here to mentor C.J. Stroud. Case Keenum, he's been around for a minute, and he's been with many good QBs. I'm excited for the knowledge that C.J. Stroud could get from Case Keenum. Then you talk about the talent added in the draft that Nick Caserio did. Let's focus on last year's draft, where he finally had a couple first-round picks. One of them was Derek Stingley, who we are excited for in year 2 under new head coach DeMeco Ryans. We're excited to see Stingley Island. It was Dameon Pierce who bursted onto the scene, and if he doesn't get hurt, this is a potential offensive rookie of the year candidate, guys, last year. It was Jalen Petrie who had over 120 plus tackles, 5 interceptions, really ended the season strong. It was really disappointing he wasn't in consideration for Defensive Rookie of the Year. The other 2 notable guys, Kenyon Green, can he bounce back from a very inconsistent rookie year? John Mechie, how are you going to play after coming back from from cancer? But this is just the talent that was added last year. We are expecting a huge improvement from last year's draft class. This year, the whole draft was exciting. You traded up for damn near every single one of your players, and all of them just happened to be captains on their respective roster. Our boy Brown Chubby Bear, he put out a tweet that said that last year the Houston Texans were one of the most, teams to have rookies. We played the most rookie snaps, and when you have a team full of captains, that is going to be very good. These young guys are going to need leaders in the future, guys. As much as I love those free agent pickup, they were only 1 to 2 years. The captains for this Houston Texans team are going to be from these last 2 draft classes, ladies and gentlemen. We are drafting for the future here, and I think Nick Caserio did a great job. You got your franchise quarterback in C.J. Stroud, and every day that goes by, I am falling more in love with this pick. I think C.J. Stroud is going to do great things. Will Anderson Jr., who you traded up for from 12 to 3. And speaking on that, for everyone who says it was real dumb for the Houston Texans, we still have a first. next year. We still have a second next year. We still have a third next year. The Houston Texans have all the ammo in the world in next year's draft. Nick Caserio hit it out the park. Then you're talking about some of the favorite picks, right? Tank Dell from the University of Houston getting that number 13, so he and CJ Stroud can have that 7-1-3 connection. We are excited for Xavier Hutchinson as well. Late draft pick. Can he sneak his way and get some playing time early in his rookie season? And this was just the amount of talent added in the draft, guys. We haven't talked about Juice Scruggs. We haven't talked about Dylan Horton. But the main focal point is that the Houston Texans in this draft class, they traded up for every single one of their guys. They drafted captains and expect these guys to play sooner rather than later. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, the last thing Nick Caserio did to set up the Houston Texans, and that was set them up in terms of we are going to have the highest cap space next year. Shout out for Clutch Entertainment for pointing this out. The Texans have the most cap space in 2024 with $120 million. If you want some notable free agents out there, T. Higgins, Quinnen Williams, Chase Young, Antoine Winfield Jr. That's who some of the Clutch City Entertainment gang likes. Shout out to them. Shout out to my boy Drew and Big E was on their podcast. Definitely check that out. General Manager Nick Caserio did a fantastic job. He deserves some praise. Let me know how you guys feel. As always, go Texans. You guys have a very blessed day.